Trade talk with the Prime Minister of Agnolia. Let's do this one. Can I still read the news before we do this? Yeah, let's read the news first. We have a second continent satellite in space. Oh, they are launching the second satellite. The Russians are leading.
Just like in real life.
And what do we have here? Oh, let's read this report.
Finally.
The highway is nearly complete. The H3 will also improve trade links with Agnolia. That's true. What do we have here? Education reforms. Ministry of Education reporting that the massive overhaul to the education system is progressing very well. Reduction of hours taught in citizenship, Sollism, and nationalism subjects. Significant efforts are being made to lessen the political indoctrination in education. That's very good. I think that were the entries. Oh, we have something in here. Oh, that's the trade talks. Sordland, one's flight from Holstock to Stalport took 3 hours but went very smoothly. We were about to touch down. David left his seat and came over while Simon was enjoying his newspaper.
Looks like we are about to land, Mr. President.
I looked outside. I could see Helyeland, the island in between Falkland and Agnolia.
So many conflicts over a small piece of land. The island can barely sustain itself without outside help.
I know, I was just thinking the same thing. Too. If I was in the shoes of the Agnolia president, I would do anything to protect the motherland. I don't blame them, it's in a very strategic position. Yeah.
Certainly, if you have held your land, that means you are in control of the whole Valgos channel. I suspect it will be one of the topics that Mr. Van Horten will bring up as a bargaining chip. We must be careful. Heldian will be under the control of Agnolia, but the international community is yet to recognize it, for a good reason too. Nobody wants to make an enemy of Vogsland, especially because of the support of United Cantana and CSP.
I don't care who we are against. We will cross that bridge when we come to it. To me included, I wouldn't want to do anything to injure our relationship with Falkland. Yeah.
I agree. We should try to do our best to stay in the middle ground.
Simon folded his newspaper, got up from his seat, and sat right next to us.
Aside from the point of Heldiland, we need to be careful with the additional requests. According to the deal that was negotiated so far, they want to sell us their steel for a higher price, and they are requesting easier access to our agricultural market. In return, they are promising cash flow and investments, especially in the Agnaland region. It's not hard to guess why.
Oh, because their people live there.
Yes, precisely. Agnolian immigrants in our Agnaland region makes up a good chunk of the region's economy now. During the initial negotiations, they brought up the topic of immigration many times. The fact that we have relaxed our immigration laws will help tremendously. Let's see if we can shake hands on it.
The pilot made an announcement that the descent has started. David and Simon went back to their seats. I took another look outside the window. I could see Stalport, the capital city of Agnolia. The large dockyards of the city and the canals appeared closer as our descent continued. Stalport was certainly a fitting name due to Stahl meaning canal. Well, Stahl actually means steel, so in Dutch.
Oh.
So it's very weird. A couple minutes later, we finally touched down. The plane parked. I took a final look out from the window. A welcoming ceremony from Agnolia was waiting along the red carpet outside. After the guards made their way out, I exited the plane. Let's wave.
You must wave.
I waved at the crowd that gathered. There were many camera flashes. I started to make my way downstairs. Prime Minister Van Horten was nowhere in sight. Instead, I was greeted by the Foreign Minister. After handshakes and a couple of photos, I moved to the car where Serge was waiting to make our way to the office of Prime Minister.
Good day, sir. I hope the flight was comfortable.
Yes, it was, thank you, Serge. I got in the car and we made our way through the foreign streets. Our convoy was protected by soldiers and Agnolian guards in their vehicle. We began driving by the highway beside the port and saw dozens of dockyards and ships anchored. Some of the ships were and machinery looked old. The city itself looked very grey and grim. The buildings had a touch of Rumburg's famous monarchian architecture with a mixture of Swedish signature domes on the older ones. We were now on the main road to the office of the Prime Minister.
Looks like they are not too happy to see you, sir.
Just pointed at the crowd that gathered on both sides of the street. It was a protest. They were shouting and yelling at our convoy. Some of them held signs written in Swedish. Sordland must pay its debts to Agnolia.
Oh, you know, I never knew Agnolians were so ungrateful. Not everyone sees a great leader like you every day.
You are so right, so ungrateful. Too, they can yell all they want. They have been so many issues in Sordland, I don't know if I can call myself a great leader. Or I wonder what propaganda their state is feeding them. Yes.
They are afraid of you, sir. They are scared that Sordland will reach its potential. They don't want you to be seen as the great hero you are.
Convoy started slowing down.
We have arrived, sir.
The car continued through the gates while the security vehicles went the other way. Finally came to a stop in front of the door. Just left the car and opened the car door. I exited and began walking to the door where dozens of press and Prime Minister were waiting for me. I saw the PM much more clearly as I neared the door. He was shorter than I thought.
Mr. President, welcome to Agnolia, beautiful city of Stalport.
Alice too. Thank you for the warm welcome. Great to be here. Reached out for a handshake. The press surrounding us had been waiting for this moment. Overpower his handshake. Are you gonna do a Trump? Dude, shake hands. Shake hands and hug after. This is what happens in real life too.
It is.
When these leaders are doing, and if your handshake gets overpowered, then the other guy puts a hand on your shoulder again, like, oh, but I am the better one. You can do whatever you want with the handshake, but I got my hand on your shoulder now. What are we gonna do?
I think just shake hands normally.
Yeah. Shook hands and smiled at the cameras, and they took pictures. It gestured to the entrance of the 200-year-old Parliament building.
This way, please.
We entered, then the press followed us inside.
I would like to present you with a gift as a sign of friendship in between our countries.
An assistant showed up immediately, with a large glass box in her hand. It contained a single parchment inside.
There here is one of the first treaties written in between Sordland and Agnolia. May the renewal of our friendship today as well.
I hope so, Mr. Van Horten. Ooh, this is an amazing gift, thank you. I hope so. Orders were taking again. I gestured at one of my retainers who was holding our gift to the PM. We give one of the original copies to the first Constitution of Sordland. Gift a Swedish-bred puppy, despite Martin's known fear of dogs.
No.
Gift an ornamented ceremonial sword made with Swedish steel.
Sword would be cool.
Should we do that one?
I think so. Sword is really cool. Ah, an excellent specimen. This must be hundreds of years old. It looks like this is Swedish steel as well. Very fitting. Thank you.
The cameras flashed again.
Let's go to my office. Follow me.
I followed him and we entered the office of the Prime Minister. It was a room of wooden minimalist decoration, far more modest than I expected. Sat down, he leaned back and made himself comfortable.
Sheesh. Thankfully done with the ceremonies.
Are you not fond of these ceremonies? Or two, I was just about to say the same. I'm not fond of these either.
It's one of the tougher parts of our job.
I got from his chair and moved over to the bar. There were many varieties of liquor.
Would you like a drink, Mr. Rayne?
Some Agnolian vodka. I will just have an Illyri Maroon. Or should we just do water?
Water, maybe? I'm not sure.
Just water is fine.
As you wish.
He poured the drinks and gave mine to me before sitting down again. Business, or what was that protest outside? Can't you control them?
I mean, they're probably allowed to protest. They weren't attacking you or anything.
Good one. Let's go straight to business.
Let's. First of all, I would like to state that I've been watching your recent changes to immigration policy. I am glad that you decided to keep it relaxed. Immigrants are very important for beneficial economic development, and we believe that very much in Agnolia. It is reassuring to see Sordland moved into a more modern direction.
Are you implying we haven't been modern?
Well, certainly not under Tarquin Soll. What did you call him? Corporal Soll? General Soll?
Colonel Soll, and you will learn to respect him. Too, he is irrelevant now. I see you did your homework, we think alike. Don't you worry, I'll modernize the country. Let's do 3.
That is actually very good and refreshing to hear. I hope you can do it.
Took a sip from his vodka.
So tell me, Mr. Rayne, is Sordland a reliable trading partner to Agnolia?
Not if you keep acting like you have the upper hand. 2, as long as Agnolia is a reliable trading partner. 3, of course, you can trust Sordland. Of course you can trust Sordland.
Very good.
He paused for a moment.
It was a good move to start building that highway. Overall, this will positively affect our trade. Well done, Mr. Rayne.
Thank you, you are very kind. 2, I didn't do it for Agnolia, I did it for people of Sordland. No need for flattery. There's no need for flattery.
I give credit when it's necessary.
Order lead back further in contemplation. So, what's it going to be? Or 2, are you going to talk all day about what I've done, or are we going to sign this deal? So, what is it going to be?
First of all, if we shake hands on it, this agreement is going to be really beneficial for both of us. You should be able to solve your recession in no time with the investment and money flow coming from us. This is, as you know, on top of the reduced tariffs for trade in between our countries. Of course, in return, as discussed between my people and your people before, you will allow us privileged access to your agricultural market. You will be buying steel from us for a higher price, which is a small price to pay, really. That is the deal. What do you say, Mr. Rayne?
I accept. -1 government bill. Budget. 2, I'm sorry, but I can't agree to this. 3, this is not a beneficial deal for Sordland. Let's do 3.
3 is true. Yeah. You went through all this effort to come and say no to me? You were throwing many months of work down the drain. This is a mistake.
Well, we can make deals, right? I can't agree to the higher prices. We prefer to continue with the current steel deal. 2, Agnolian steel isn't worth that much, Mr. Van Horten. I'm sorry, but my answer is no. Let's go to 1, right?
Yes, that's it. We believe that Sordland has been given an unfair advantage for too long because of the previous agreements. We can no longer accept this, Mr. Rayne. Our people believe that we have long been overshadowed by Sordland. I'm here to fix that with a beneficial trade deal for both us, nonetheless.
1, is there no room for discussion? 2, then I will accept Mr. Van Horten. We don't want to lose such an important partner like Agnolia. 1, is there no room for discussion?
We don't want to lose our cooperation with Sordland. Maybe I can agree with the old prices. I will offer an alternative for the sake of our history together.
Aha!
As you know, Helduland has been long contested between Agnolia and Vagsland. You know how the international community does not recognize a rightful claim on the island, including Sordland. Wouldn't it be good that Sordland finally announces the recognition of Helduland as Agnolian territory? If you do that, we'll have a deal.
Oh, are we gonna become enemies with Volksland, with the super navy?
But don't they have a good navy too? Agnolia?
Yes, but not as much as Volksland. This country is having the biggest navy in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, we can also still do the trade deal with Mr. Polish name here. I don't know.
Because you don't want to buy stuff at a higher price.
Yeah, but then I need to recognize the island.
That's true.
That will trigger the whole faction of all the United Contana nations, including Falkland and I think also Valen over here. And then they can become angry. What are we gonna do?
Tell him that he's asking too much?
Yeah, let's just start with that. You're asking too much.
Sordland is rejecting a trade deal that rights the wrongs of the past and doesn't recognize its partners' territories, yet we are the ones asking for too much? I took you for someone you were not, I suppose, but you are no different than your predecessors.
Be careful with your words, Mr. Van Horten. 2. You are in no position to judge me. I have made my decision. 3. There is nothing else to talk about. We are done here. Well, looks like we are not having a trade deal.
Yeah. I thought this could be the start of a new era, but apparently not. Well then.
Beautiful, Monsieur.
We must continue the official program, as you know. We will pay a visit to our founder's grave for another ceremony. Afterwards, we will move on to the state dinner.
I won't be joining. It's time we are on our way back home. Should we just leave? I mean, they don't want to negotiate at all.
Yeah, I guess just leave.
They want me to pick a stance against other nations for their trade deal. Now we are going home. His eyes widened in surprise.
But this is customary. Every Sordish president before you has done this. This won't sit well with us. I must insist we follow the protocol.
I won't say it twice.
This is outrageous. You are not giving confidence to the people of Agnolia right now. But it is your decision, after all. Very well, let them know that you are heading out. See you later, Mr. President. We will be in touch.
I got up from my chair. Take care, Martin.
You as well.
Outside Sir was waiting for me. I got in the car and we started driving back to the airport. I briefed Simon and David. The way back was mostly silent. I couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief when we touched down on Holsword. Well, there goes our trade partner.
Yep.
Are they now angry? Neutral.
No, that's still neutral.
You're now also still neutral. Van Horten is playing with fire. Yeah, no. Well, let's see if we can do something with Wayland over here. Trade talks with Wayland. Sordland's one flight from Holzhort to Wroclawitz took approximately 5 hours. Despite heavily turbulence, I managed to sleep a little. Along with Simon and David, we landed at the international airport of the capital city of Wayland. The aim here was to finalize a trade deal drafted in between Sordland and Wayland. Shortly after our plane landed, the door opened and the sun blinded me for a moment. I stepped outside. I saw the soldiers lined up on either side of a red carpet. There must have been at least 100 soldiers. The marching band started playing and the soldiers immediately saluted me. I'm not going to do any gestures. At the bottom of the stairs, Viktor Smolak was waiting for me next to a military jeep with a few soldiers by his side. There were a few reporters on the side, waiting with their cameras. He was a tall man, almost as tall as me. He was wearing large sunglasses and his attire was a regular suit, contrasting with the military attire of everyone else in the field.
Mr. President, welcome to Wroclawitz.
He immediately motioned for an embrace. We hugged and many cameras went off at the same time. He returned around for a couple of additional poses. Nice to see you, Mr. President. You pull him aside for a couple more poses yourself. Thank you for inviting us.
Now that the pleasantries are done, let's go. We'll take the jeep for a tour.
With another tune from the marching band, we boarded the military jeep. I sat in the driver's seat and I sat next to him. As we started speeding up, the soldiers saluted again. And he saluted back. I'm not going to salute anyone. The security detail and Victor's security detail started following us immediately, along with a team of reporters.
We will first go to the city center to see the opening of a statue.
Whose statue? Or two? Sounds exciting. I'd rather not waste time and go straight into business. Whose statue? It's
mine, of course.
We kept making small talk about the flight and the weather until we started making our way into the city center. On almost every corner there were reporters taking photos of us. Oddly enough, every single street that we took seemed completely empty. Is it always this empty? So is this all a big photo op for you? 3. How long is this going to take? Is it always this empty?
I had the locals close down their businesses because of your visit so you can enjoy the city more. There we are.
We arrived at the city center in the middle of a large plaza. There was a covered statue. Lots of people had gathered behind fences and they were waving both Sordland and Wayland flag. Victor waved back at them.
My people have been very supportive of this visit, Mr. President. I'm sure you are delighted to see.
A man came closer to the fences and started yelling at Victor. With my limited knowledge of the Weshek language, I understood the words Victor and murderer. Almost instantaneously, 2 soldiers showed up from behind the man that was taking away.
Thankfully, the sun is up. Today will be a good day for the reveal.
I see that you know how to handle dissidents. Very good, too. What will happen to the man who was protesting you? What will happen to him?
Which man? The one in the crowd? Don't worry about the details. He must have been a troubled fellow. Let's focus on the event.
Took our places in front of the statue. With a drum roll, the statue of Victor Smolak was uncovered. The statue was done pretty well, except that he was made more masculine. He was wearing a cloak and holding a sword in his hand.
Excellent statue. Very lifelike. What do you think?
Mr. Smolak, I don't have time for these games. Let's go straight into the business. So, yes, it's very good. Very lifelike. Our artists can do better in Sordland. Should we just go with him for now?
Just go to, yeah. Glad you appreciate the art behind it. Join me for a walk.
I followed him through the streets. At every corner, more and more photos were taken. I stopped in front of a pastry vendor on the street.
Give me 2 strudels. Ooh.
The man behind the stand smiled and gave us 2 strudels. Are you going to pay for it? 2. Pay the street vendor. 3. Wait for him to pay the street vendor.
I think just wait.
Wait. Waited for him to pay the street vendor. He simply took the 2 solos and didn't pay anything. Are you going to pay for it?
Yes, I will pay for it.
He handed the money to the street vendor. The cameras flashed again. Afterwards, we walked a short distance to the palace. Passing the gates of the palace, we made our way into the main building made from ivory-colored stone. The old guard towers flanked the magnificent main building from both sides. Inside the palace was very spacious, with a very large chandelier hanging from the ceiling, and staircases made from the same ivory stone had red carpets on them. On both sides, on the upper levels, guards stood with the traditional outfits of all the Weshek kingdoms. When we reached the office of the President of Sordland, the door closed behind us. The interior boasted gold ornaments on the walls, ivory collars, and various jewels attached to different artifacts of old. As it was customary in Wayland, we sat down on the carpet.
Now we can talk about our trade deal.
Nod.
Finally.
Oh.
But before that...
Yeah.
Bring the Kisha.
Few assistants immediately entered the room, carrying a large ornamented Kisha, the well-known smoking instrument originating from Wayland. They immediately lit it up and the room was filled with the smell of tobacco. He inhaled the smoke and handed me the Kisha. I don't smoke.
Your loss. It's the finest tobacco in the land.
Yeah, but I'm not smoking. He took another puff, filling the room with more smoke.
So, Mr. President, that's so long. Can I call you Anton?
No, let's stay with the official title.
Very well, Mr. President. Tell me, what do you really think about Rumburg?
A barking dog doesn't bite. 2. They are a threat that needs to be dealt with. 3. They can go to hell. 4. Not much in particular, like any other country, they have their needs and their own agenda. Should we do 2?
Yeah. I agree with your sentiments, Mr. President. They are a threat to everyone in the region. I assure you their time will come.
In due time, yes. Are you planning something? 3. Regardless, I would rather prevent further conflict in the region. Yeah, I would rather prevent further conflict.
That's true. You know as well as I do, Mr. President, they are coming whether we like it or not. They are the aggressor, not us. For now, I have something else in mind.
What is it? He clapped his hands again. 2 assistants came in the room with a map of the border regions. Oh, we are gonna go to war and divide Rumburg. The border regions between Wayland and Sordland. Oh no, he's pointing at the border.
Look. Bloods and their so-called BFF, best friends, are causing problems for me in this region. I know that they are also a problem for you as well. I want to allow these traitors to exist in my borders, so I will hit them with all the might of Wayland. These terrorists need to be destroyed. I call it Operation Bear Trap. 1.
I don't support any military action this close to our borders. 2. What do you want from me? 3. I like the sound of it. Are we gonna go against these militants of the British Freedom Front? What do you want from me? He grinned and lay back on the large pillow behind him.
Here's the deal. I will give you the best trade deal in the region. You will give me your assistance crushing terrorists on both of our borders.
1. I need specifics. 2. Absolutely not. I won't meddle in Wayland's military inventions. 3. 2 birds, 1 stone. 2 birds, 1 stone. I need specifics.
Sure. My spies have infiltrated BFF cells and they found caches of KA-74. We traced them back to Rumburg. This alone justifies my retaliation to protect my country. Worst of all, we also found that similar shipments are going to Sordland. Yes, Mr. President, you see, this is not just Wayland's problem. Let's take a step back and talk about what you will get in return. I propose you a no-tariff agreement, co-investment projects, and oil. In return, you will assist me in destroying the terrorists in my country.
Oh god. What kind of a support do you need from me? Can't Wayland handle it by itself?
We can, but these vermin are good at hiding. What I want from you in return is all the money and the resources. It's a joint operation between our armies against BFF.
I took a moment to think about it. Let's negotiate Sordland's contribution in this operation. Let's negotiate.
You are a tough one, Mr. President. Normally I wouldn't offer anything else, but I like you. Here's my final offer. When the operation starts, with you or without you, there will be stragglers trying to cross into Sordland. We just want you to support their operation, even if you do not join. Stop the terrorists from fleeing into your country, and you will have your deal. Simple, isn't it? So what do you think?
But if I don't accept, we have no deal. And they are a threat, and we are not the aggressor in this deal. It's very loosey, but maybe we have to go that way. I mean, this BFF will stay a problem all the time.
Maybe just get rid of them?
But I'm not getting rid of them. I'm just not letting them in.
That's true, yeah.
I'm gonna do it just for the sake of this playthrough. See what happens.
All right.
Let's get some drama. We have a deal.
I knew I could trust you, Mr. President.
We are gonna exterminate the Blooded Freedom Front.
Tonight we will drink.
He clapped his hands again.
Drinks, dancers, music.
A group of dancers and performers entered the smoke-filled room. As they performed their songs, we clinked our glasses to our newly found partnership while sipping the sweet Weszek liquor. The next day, I returned to Sordland with a hangover. What a nice deal.
Yes.
We failed at negotiating a trade deal with Agnolia. I successfully negotiated a trade deal with Wayland. Yes, because you don't want to negotiate, Mr. Van Hoorten. Only things that are bringing ourselves in trouble.
Exploit us. Yeah, they wanted to exploit us.
News. Yeah, we have a new trade agreement and investment protection with Wayland.
Oh.
Reduced tariffs and barriers. We can do business there now. Negotiation all included cooperation pact against a terrorist organization. Religious Freedom Front. Oh boy. Oh, and this is going to be the last thing I'm going to do for today. The speech of the President on the reforms. I came to the Grand National Assembly of Sordland to deliver a speech regarding the new constitution and ask for the support of the Assembly before the upcoming vote. I walked quickly through the corridors, giving my greetings to people on my way towards the Parliamentary Hall. When I entered the hall, the assembly was in complete chaos, with shouting and cursing between the parties. There was a heavy argument about a proposal made by an MP from the National Front Party. I took my seat inside the special area reserved for the ministers. Gloria was shouting from her seat in the center of the hall as she hit the gavel 3 times. Each strike heavier than the one before. Order, order. Oh, that's you.
Order, order, order.
We have to do it in the English way. Order, order.
Order, order in His Majesty's chamber.
I saw Cicero Gibner sitting up from his seat and shouting towards the members of the PFJP.
Mr. Kibbener, calm yourself. Show respect to the procedures of this assembly.
Despite their efforts, the argument continued for a couple of minutes before everybody took back their seats. Finally went quiet.
Mr. Kibbener, next time when I tell you to do so, either take your seat or leave the hall so we can proceed with the procedures of this assembly and continue our duties.
Some MPs from the NFP side shouted back at her in protest.
Honorable ladies and gentlemen, if you allow me to continue.
He pointed at me.
We have the President here with us today. He is asked to give an important announcement.
Assembly fell silent.
You have the floor, Mr. President.
I walked to the stand as loud clapping started from the USP side. Ladies and gentlemen of the Grand National Assembly of Sordland, I'm here today to raise important questions regarding our outdated constitution. 1. The Supreme Court holds too much power. 2. Our election threshold has harmed our democracy more than anything. 3. Perhaps it's not expected of me to say this, but the President holds too much authority. 4. Our elected assembly has always been overshadowed. Well, the Supreme Court is having too much power right now, right?
Yeah, I think that's the most truth. Because, I mean, you haven't touched them at all, even with them reformed.
The Supreme Court holds too much power over our elected branches. They have been obstructing the law-making process and has long plagued the democracy in Sordland. Soll gave his power to the court for the sole reason to protect the Constitution of the 20s, which led us to fail in adapting to the new world. I continued. Therefore, I propose change to the Constitution to prepare Sordland for a more democratic area. Yes. 2. We must finally rewrite the Constitution of Soll and break our chains of the past. 3. I call everyone to stand by us to make historic changes to our Constitution and bring it to the standards of today's world. Well, let's do 1. More democratic.
That's what we want.
Applause came from the USP and the PFJP seats. We will break the Supreme Court's authority over constitutional changes, or 2. We will rebalance the branches of government to ensure a more democratic process. Yeah, 2.
Yep.
I focused on unity, or change, or peace.
Change? Yes, I'm not sure.
Maybe peace.
Yeah.
Let's do change. Let's not be afraid of change. The world is changing, and Sordland needs the change it has earned after years of Soulism in the last decade. So we will rewrite the old and make a constitution that would reflect the will of the people and open the way for a democratic Sordland. 1. We will be removing the presidential decrees and leave lawmaking to the assembly. Yes. 2. We will make Sordland great again. We will do 1. We will be removing the presidential decrees and leave lawmaking to the assembly. USP on the NFP seat. He took a breath and continued. Ladies and gentlemen of the assembly, we must set aside our differences. 2. It is time to make a new constitution together. 3. I ask everyone to think clearly about our current situation and join us for change.
Yeah. I think 2 is
Yeah, let's do
the best one.
Be part of a new era for Sordland. Join us and vote for our proposal. 1. I ask everyone to support us in the upcoming vote. I demand your votes. 1. Join us and vote for our proposal. Let's write the future together. I will address all the problems of the past in my proposal. 3. The USP will change and lead Sordland into the future. No, not our party. Now let's do the future together.
Salute the crime.
Finish with a poem. There's a destiny above destiny. Or 2. There's a victory growing with every morning.
I like 2.
Do you like 2?
I do.
There's a victory growing with every morning. There's a revolution that's coming. 2. There is God beyond existence or non-existence. There is my country beyond everything, my beloved. 3.
Yeah, that's the best one.
These are songs to be sung in affectation of our victories. There is a spring that blossoms out of the graves of our fallen. 3. There is evil that tortures and tears me down.
I guess 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do not doubt the one. There is a decision coming from the heavens. No. 2. Fear not when the dark falls. There is an artist painting the sun. 3. Do not dare to surrender. There is a victory that grows with defeat. I think I have to go for 3.
Yeah. Yep.
Beyond the next morning, there is a victory waiting to be won. The assembly roared with all kinds of different reactions. The whole United Sordland party stood up and started applauding.
Thank you for the speech, Mr. President.
I walked back to my seat as many MPs asked. My friend Richter was among them.
Yes, Mr. Richter. Thank you, Miss Speaker. I would like to thank Mr. President for his speech. We, the People's Freedom and Justice Party, stands in agreement with the need for a more democratic constitution. I would like to thank the ladies and gentlemen of the United Sordland Party for their more open attitude compared to past years. As long as Mr. President words prove not just to be words, we will be behind this much-needed movement for change. We welcome this attempt. I ask Mr. President to share the final contents of these proposals as soon as possible. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Miss Speaker. Uh-oh.
Suddenly, Kippener started yelling from his seat.
The President must have lost his mind to cooperate with the likes of you, Mr. Richter. You and the PFJP are nothing but puppets of Western interests. Order! Madam Speaker, I know that you are in agreement with me as well. Do not stand idly while the administration is making deals with snakes that undermine the integrity of Order, Mr. Kibner. How many times do I need to say you are speaking out of I demand to speak.
Gloria gave him a stare. She looked annoyed.
Very well, Mr. Kibner. Go ahead. Mr. President.
You looked directly at me.
A nationalist movement does not agree with your priorities, nor the way you're trying to implement them. The National Front Party will not stand with you on your new constitution. Let it be known that the NFP's concerns are not included in this so-called democratic reforms. Thus, Mr. President has no right to claim them as such. We will stand our ground against any attempt to bring down our established political, cultural, and national values. Thank you.
Sarah went back to his seat, but the chaos in the assembly continued.
Just leave. Just be
Ask to speak.
Yes, Mr. President.
Mr. Richter, Mr. Kibbener. Are we gonna say something against Mr. Kibbener here?
I mean, if you want more chaos, then yes. I don't know, I think you should just ignore him. Alright.
I looked at him. It is you who shouldn't use the word democratic when you want a more centralized government. So we are not specifically cooperating with someone, but everyone. We ask that you also join us. 3. I'm saddened to hear about your opposite stance. Let's go with 1 here. It's you using the word democratic when you want a more centralized government. He watched as he slouched his seat, legs crossed. Do not stand against charge, be a part of it, Mr. Kibbener. We can do much more together. 2. Don't you dare stand against us, otherwise, now that the NFP is guaranteed to be history. 3. I respect your opinion. 4. We don't need you.
It's kind of true.
1. I expect your support in the upcoming vote. 2. We will bring change regardless of your support. 3. Thank you. I'm just gonna ask for support again.
Yeah.
Gloria looked at me to see if I'd finished my response. Mr. Richter.
Mr.
I looked at him. Thank you for the nice words. Too, we'd like to have a cooperation between our parties. Expect your support, Mr. Richter. Wait, is it going... Oh yeah, to Richter, yeah. We can do much more together.
Yeah.
Thank you for your support. We are looking forward to work with the PFJP. Thank you, Mrs. Speaker. I got up from my seat and started my walk towards the act. MPs kept shouting and responding to each other, creating a loud mess where nothing was legible.
Order! Order! This topic is finished. We're moving on to our next topic.
I slowly left the hall. The shouting could be heard from every corridor of the Grand Nationalist.
Wow.
Oh, well. Looks like I have to press continue. Check the news. Yeah, Supreme Court holds too much power. True. And over here, to remove the decrees. Yep. And here, Walker warns Falklandian Navy over the Helgeland dispute. I think there will be war.
Maybe.
We have some report. Reported that so far they have been able to get in total 142 signatures behind the proposal. Work is underway to increase the support and reach out to 150. We need 8 more. Then we can do the thing. And here we have the border report. The Third Army is ready for the operation to not let the bloodish separatists flee the border.
Yeah.
Alright.
Fair deal.